The Tiger in the Zoo. Introduction. The poem written by Leslie Norris explains the agony and helplessness of a caged tiger that lives in a zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. The poet has tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. The poem begins with description of a tiger that is very beautiful and is walking in his little cage. He is having beautiful stripes on his skin and has velvet-like soft paws. But he is not happy and is quite angry in the cage. The poet says that the tiger may try to hide behind the long grass, but here he is not able to do so. Actually, nothing is happening naturally. He is in a strong cage, and so he is helpless. He cannot show his power to the visitors. Poet is describing the tiger as being powerless and agonized. Cage life has totally changed his personality. Thus the intention of the poet is to say that the animal, famous for its fearlessness and freedom, is confined and sad only due to human beings. He stalks in his vivid stripes. The few steps of his cage. On pads of velvet quiet. In his quiet rage. Word meanings: vivid, bright colored. Pads, paws of tiger. Rage, anger. Here the poet says that the tiger that is confined in the zoo moves around in the cage under his bright colored skin. He further says that the tiger can take only a few steps because the cage is small and it is not easy to move in it. One cannot hear his footsteps because he has very soft feet, like velvet, because of which there is no sound of the tiger's footsteps. The tiger tries to control his anger by quietly walking in the limited area of his cage. He is angry because he is not free. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole, where plump deer pass. Word meaning: lurking, to be hidden, as to wait for your prey. The poet says that if this tiger was free, he would have hid himself behind the long grass near the water bodies so that he could easily catch a deer in order to have it as its food. Basically, the poet wants to say that the actual life of a tiger is to live in jungle where he could catch his prey and eat it, but the tiger in the cage cannot do so. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Word meanings: snarling, warning sounds made by animals. Baring, uncovered. Fangs, sharp tooth of animals. The poet says that if the tiger would have been free, he would have snarled around the houses located at the outskirts of the forest. He would terrorize people with his sharp tooth and claws. This would create fear among the people living in the villages. But he's locked in a concrete cell. His strength behind bars. Stalking the length of his cage. Ignoring visitors. Word meaning: concrete, building made of bricks, cement, sand and water. Now the poet comes to the reality of the tiger that is inside the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made of strong building material. He further says that as the tiger is behind bars, so his ferociousness is also behind the bars. He just stalks in the cage. He never tries to terrorize the visitors because his power is restricted by the cage. Therefore, He never tries to terrorize the visitors as he cannot attack them. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Word meanings: patrolling, to guard, to vigil. The poet says that in the night, the tiger hears the sounds of the patrolling cars. Patrolling cars are the vehicles of police which are used to guard at night. So, in the night the tiger hears the sounds of these cars. He then stares at the shining stars with his shining eyes. The poet wants to say that the tiger is sad, and as he is confined in the cage, so he cannot do anything. Therefore, he stares at the stars in the night and tries to divert his thoughts towards them.